It might not look like much from the outside. It's just another high-end boutique hotel in downtown Calgary. People come and people go. But come May 5th, the inside of this very building will tell a much different story. It's a story about dreams. It's about hard work. It's about failing. And it's about never giving up. Right behind me here, this is where the 2016 Bantam Hockey Draft will take place. This is where the names of some 200 14- and 15-year-old boys will be added to the list of 22 WHL teams. And Dylan Holloway is hoping to be one of them.
Well, the Bantam Draft, so far it's been a pretty big year and probably the biggest year of hockey I've ever had yet because of the Bantam Draft. It's exciting and hopefully I'll get drafted. This is where I grew up. This is my house. Me and my brother grew up here shooting hockey pucks and having a good time. The sport, it's just fun to play. The teammates are always good. I love just skating on the ice. It's a cool feeling just skating. I feel like hockey is the funnest game ever. If I don't get drafted, I feel that I'll be really disappointed, but I'll still keep working at my game so I can still make the NHL.
That's a feeling Alex Burrows knows all too well.
But I wasn't even on the map. Like I was, basically until I was 18 years old, I was only playing for fun. That was, hockey was a hobby and it's just to have fun with my friends, and school was the thing that I had to do. So I wasn't really super fast or the best shot or the biggest guy. I was a smaller guy, and we just played for fun. And being drafted in the Bantam Draft or the Junior Draft or even the NHL was something that was like impossible for me.
So while that wasn't in the cards, his hockey career was far from finished.
As a 19-year-old, where in junior, I finally made the team in junior major in Shawinigan as a 19-year-old, where most kids do it when they're 16 and 17. So I made the team as a 19-year-old, and on my team, we had guys like Jason Pomerville, Pascal Dupuis, Marc-André Bergeron, Radim Verbata, Spinek Michalek, that were all guys that were drafted in the NHL. And then I was practicing and playing on the same team as them, and I wasn't as good as them, that's for sure, but I was like, if those guys are already drafted by an NHL team, maybe if I play well, if I work hard, if I do the right things, maybe one scout will see me and will give me a chance. So that's when I started thinking maybe that could be a possibility one day.
Playing in the NHL, it's a dream that fills the minds of many young boys all over Canada. But what are the odds of actually making it? It's hard to say. According to one study done by Ken Campbell of the Hockey News, you have a better chance of winning the Powerball lottery than you do of making it to the National Hockey League. A different study done by Jim Parcells, the co-author of a book called Selling the Dream, found that the chances of going from minor hockey to a steady NHL career are roughly 1 in 4,000. To explain that a little more, that's a 0.00025 chance of ever making it. And NHL assistant coach Doug Lidster says it isn't always about having that natural gift of hockey running through your veins. Sometimes it's about having desire.
If you have a passion for something, you're going to do whatever you have to do to achieve it. And I think that that's probably the number one thing that stands out for me is guys that have a passion for it. It's not work. It's something that they just have to do.
Yeah, I basically tried out for almost every midget AAA team in Saskatchewan, and was cut from every single one 2 years in a row. And I basically told my dad that I was done. The last one I went to, I went with a broken hand. I broke my hand in a junior A camp, and I didn't really tell anyone just because I wanted to play so bad. All my friends were drafted into the WHL, and then playing midget AAA, and I wanted to do that, and it was obviously my dream. And being cut so many times, I was defeated, and I just wanted to quit hockey at the time.
So does Dorsett believe his absence on the Bantam Draft list impacted his career? He does, but not in the way you might predict.
Oh, it was disappointing. I think I still remember the day when, the Bantam Draft was happening, and there's probably 5 or 6 of my friends that, were ranked to go or were predicted to go, and I thought, that I was as good as some of them that were going in the draft, and to be passed, it obviously sucked, but at the same time, I think it worked out better for me not getting picked. It drove me to be better, and it's worked out.
Like Alex Burrows and Derek Dorsett, Chris Tanev faced long odds to make hockey his full-time profession, and according to him, his very first experience on skates wasn't anything to celebrate.
I was falling a lot, and my mom kept on coming on the ice and trying to pick me up, and my dad would yell at her for trying to come and grab me up from the ice. Thought it was embarrassing, I guess.
Tanev's path didn't get any easier.
I don't know. I was a smaller kid. I wasn't always one of the best guys on my team. I was sort of middle of the pack guy, and I couldn't make any teams. I was tiny. I struggled a bit to get on a team. I went on a lot of tryouts, couldn't really make anything, but stopped for 2 years, and I ended up growing a bunch, so and that helped me a lot.
Tanev would never hear his name called at the OHL Bantam Draft, but his love for the game continued.
I mean, I would always play with my buddies, and I played a little bit of high school stuff, but I mean, nothing serious. And I ended up making a junior A team, Tier 2, in grade 12, so I think I was 17. And from then on, I started doing well, and ended up getting traded to a better team, and ended up getting a scholarship to the States, so that was awesome.
I think sometimes when you get passed over, then you decide that you really want it, and you're more focused. I think if you get it, sometimes you relax. I think it's just like in a game. Sometimes when you win, you just think the next game you're going to win, and if you lose, you pay way more attention to detail. And I think these guys, they had something tough, and when they didn't get picked, it made them want it even more.
Back in Calgary, Dylan Holloway says he knows desire and talent won't be enough.
I think it takes a lot of hard work. I think a lot of discipline to know what to do and do the right thing. And it also takes time and commitment, as you just can't decide to do it. You have to work at it. So. Well, I usually so I have a stick and a ball up there, and I stick handle in deke and stuff. And then here at shooting, as you can see on this net, it's made out of the real, right here, the post is the real material, and that net, it's just kind of, it's steel, but it's not, it can dent easily. And I've had a couple nets in the past where I shot so much, the crossbar broke, and then the middle bar fell out, and it just didn't, stand up anymore.
There's a reason young players want to get drafted. There's a reason they want to walk down a hallway like this, or sit on a bench like this, and play in the Canadian Hockey League. According to an article written by Russ Biddle, most hockey experts will make their statement that the Major Juniors is the best option for the best players. For one, the Major Juniors has produced the most players historically in the NHL, and because the CHL is formulated closely to the National Hockey League. Statistics dating back to the 2005-06 NHL season will show more than half the players developed in the CHL ranks. It is Tier 1 Junior A hockey and considered the world's top professional development league. And what's the easiest way to play in the CHL? Get drafted in the Bantam Draft.
I think it's amazing that Dorsett went from not getting picked in the Bantam Draft, where there's over 200 kids picked, to now being probably tied for third with Chip Chura, who was the first pick overall in that Bantam Draft. So when he was growing up, he wasn't even the best player on his team, and why would he end up being a player when all these kids that were rated higher than him by so-called experts fell by the wayside? And I think one of the main reasons was his parents. I think you need somebody to believe in you, especially when things aren't going good. And I know his parents were great with him. They believed in him, and until he kind of found his way. And the other part is how competitive he is. Both him and Alex Burrows is another guy that didn't get drafted in the Quebec Major League. And I think there's only two players ahead of him now that got drafted the year he didn't, and that's Ribeiro and Richards, and he's gone to be third on that list. So he has a great drive for the game and passion for the game. When I asked the players what separates Alex Burrows, they said his love for the game. He just loves the game. And then the third guy was Chris Tanev, who got drafted in didn't get drafted in the OHL. He had a real strong draft year with Tavares and Doughty and Subban and Muzzin. So there was lots of good players out of that year. But Tanev has gone from not even playing hockey at 14 and 15, I think, to becoming one of the best defensemen in the NHL. And I think he's probably 8th or 9th on that list now. So all those guys they've got character. They're great guys, and they have a love for the game.
Derek Dorsett, the kid who got told no by every AAA team in Saskatchewan, is currently in his 8th season in the NHL.
Obviously, you sometimes when you're young, you believe things, and I think there's a few stories of my teachers, giving me trouble in class and saying, try harder or whatnot, and I would tell them that it doesn't matter because I was going to play in the NHL. There's, I think, almost every Canadian kid growing up, at some point dreams of playing in the National Hockey League, and I've been fortunate enough to live that dream out.
Chris Tanev overcame the odds, and after quitting hockey at 14 years old, has gone to play over 280 games in the National Hockey League.
It was in overtime against Edmonton. It took me a while. It took me like 60 games before I first scored, but it was overtime, and Hank and Danny made an awesome play and basically gave me like a mini breakaway, and I shot it short side, posting in, and we won in overtime. So it was an awesome way to score my first one. It was awesome. It was something that I never thought would ever happen. It just shows that hard work and determination can pay off. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this team who've made it the harder way, and it's just something for younger guys that always work hard and never give up on what you want to do.
Alex Burrows, a small boy from Montreal who just played hockey for fun, is assistant captain for the Vancouver Canucks and has currently scored over 180 goals in the NHL.
Oh, my first NHL game, that was in January 2nd, 2006. Oh, it's probably one of the best feelings in the world. I think for me, you've worked so hard in the summer, in the off season, you've put so much effort into it since you've been a kid. And now to be able to play on the biggest stage, it's like a dream come true. So you're playing in front of fans that are so passionate about the game, so passionate about their teams.
As for 14-year-old Dylan, he's still working hard and hoping his name will be called out of a pool of thousands at this year's 2016 Bantam Hockey Draft, and dreaming that he will beat the odds and one day have his chance to shine in the NHL.
My dream is to play in the NHL because I love the game and I feel like it'll be really fun. It's the only job I really thought of having. Do I think I will? I think I will, yeah.